Alright guys, we are back for another video. I'm used to saying Dokkan video, but we're going to do something a little bit different. Final Fantasy Tactics, right? This is, one of my favorite games of all time. I would kind of hold it up there as like Final Fantasy Tactics, Dokkan Battle I do really love, and then, this year, Expedition 33, I feel like is actually on that level as well. Final Fantasy Tactics, besides Dokkan, this is the game I've played the most in my life. Actually, the very first video uploaded on my channel is a hard mode, mod for this game. So, all the gameplay I've been recording of this game, we're kind of been rocking it. As you guys can see right there, that was, kind of like the count. I was ready to go. As soon as this game was going to unlock, I was hopping right in. I just wanted to do a quick video here, given my impressions, my first kind of initial thoughts on this remaster. After the, the NVIDIA leak a couple of years back, I have been like really, really waiting for this so much. And I guess the reason it took so long is because silly Square Enix lost the source code, right, of Tactics, so they had to rebuild a lot of this from the ground up. And I think, with this video, that's kind of, like, the main thing. As someone who's played, like, I don't know how many hours, probably over 10,000 hours playing this game. Probably. Yeah, probably something like 10,000 hours or so. With that much time, I've kind of got, like, a good feel of the game. Like, I kind of know how the game should feel. I know how it should control a lot of that stuff. By the way, I love... dude, Gafgarian is voiced by Obito from Naruto. I love it, man. I love it so much. So good. But, okay, so one of the things I love immediately is, like, this. The whole script being voice acted... I feel like it gives a lot of flavor to this game. I really, really like that. I'm enjoying quite a bit. Kind of like all of these lines of dialogue actually being voice acted. If I have maybe a slight negative, one reason I came to this point is the tutorials are crazy. I'm sure you could turn them off, but they really do. Like, literally everything you do is giving you a tutorial. Now, this is, my first time playing it. I'm so, like, my memory, even though I haven't played Tactics in a number of years, like, I still have, like, muscle memory of what buttons to push. I think right here, I'm literally trying to tilt the camera up. I'm trying to figure out, like, exactly the buttons to move around the map and stuff like that. After a couple of days of playing, I've kind of, gotten the grasp of, some of the changes, like, where it is that you kind of, like, buy abilities, view abilities, a lot of these different things. But, some of these systems, they're kind of, like, displayed in a different way. I think I would say I don't really like, the job screen as much as I did kind of, like, the old version of the job screen. But it's just, kind of like a minor nitpick. That's not really a big deal. I could, sort of kind of get used to it. Like, that's not really too much of a problem. But, yeah, I did want to show this. I do think that the pop-up tips are probably a little bit excessive, but, for a new player, it would definitely be good for that, right? Now, at this point, I've played quite a bit. I just wanted to show this part right here, because some of the differences, some of the changes in the game I've noticed, right? In the old Final Fantasy Tactics, you would, in order to go on a random battle, there was, the little spots all over the map. There was red, which is kind of like the story objective. The next story objective was red. Blue is just kind of like safe zones or towns, forts that didn't really have anything going on after you did the story battle, that type of thing. And then there was green dots, which was the various different places where you could run into a random battle. And the way you would do that is you would just, like, walk over the spot over and over and over until a random battle would trigger. Well, now they added an option where if you're standing on the spot, you could just press a button, which we did right here, and that would actually take us right into a random battle. I actually think that's like a really nice quality of life change. Another thing too is when moving around the map, you could just choose to ignore, like, you know, it's like, okay, random battle started, fight it or flee. Like, you could choose to ignore it, you know, especially way at the end of the game, deep into chapter 4, right? There is, you know, there's one point in particular where you have to go from Limberry Castle, which is all the way on the right of the map, all the way to Egros Castle, which is all the way on the left of the map. So it's like you have to go through, you know, 5, 6, 7, 8 zones that have random battles, and it could take a long time to get over there. But like now in this kind of like remaster, again, this is a remaster, but certainly I've mentioned this, with them rebuilding the game from the ground up because they lost the source code. The AI to me does seem to behave a little bit differently. I mean, I've done a lot of these story fights. Let me actually just pull up the fight in question. Yeah, we're coming in right here. So some of these fights have played out in a way that I quite literally have never seen before. Again, we're talking like 10,000 hours. So I feel like that is going to make this very fun. In that, like, again, the game, like, I'm used to kind of like, you know, making my starting party in a certain way, or, you know, like going about the fight in a certain way. And it's different now. Now, to be fair, there is a couple of difficulty modes. I'm like a trophy hunter, right? So usually if there's no difficulty for a game, I probably will just go for like the lowest difficulty or a very low difficulty, right? But for tactics in particular, I was curious. So I did do the hardest difficulty, the tactician difficulty. So far, now the behavioral differences in the enemy AI that I've noticed could be because I'm on tactician difficulty, but I suspect that the only difference from tactician, the enemies hit so hard that their damage is just jacked up, right? Compared to, I think, what it used to be in kind of like the vanilla version of Final Fantasy Tactics. Now, I know this game, I know like everything about, like I have almost about probably like 97% of the content in this game like memorized. Like I'm well aware of all of this stuff, what abilities are broken, like all this, right? Like right here, early on, you can get this ability Tailwind. If you're like a new player coming to this game, the ability to increase your speed is so overly broken in this. It completely destroys the game's balance. And you get this ability from second 1, Tailwind. And only Ramza gets it, the main character. And you could use it to raise anyone's speed. And so at the start of these fights, we're always overwhelmed, you know, like this damage, like, you know, our characters are going to be dropping like flies at the start, right? Just instant death. But I'm able to kind of like raise our speed, and we're able to kind of like, you know, get the hang of, like, that's a huge thing. Another tip I'd have if someone is new, a lot of times the most important, like, I guess like, I don't know, bar CT, if you see that, every action you take lowers that. So if you move, if you actually take an action, it lowers it. A good strategy for playing this game, if you don't need to move, don't move. If you don't really need to do an action that's waste work, like, don't do it. A lot of times, like, you know, I mean, in some of this footage, I will take an action or something, but my movements are very, like, deliberate, or I don't move very much to conserve my CT, especially because, again, maybe it's because of tactician difficulty, the enemy stats are juiced up, but in these fights, the entire enemy is faster than our team, right? Now, I haven't really done overly, like, a ton of grinding. I mean, I guess my Ramza is level 9. He's leveled higher than the enemies. Another recommendation I would have is Ramza makes for, like, the most indestructible killer mage in this game, because there's a mechanic called Faith, and at this point, I haven't raised his Faith yet, but you're able to raise his Faith to a level that regular characters can't get to, because they will literally leave the party. They, like, leave the party for good. So you know, you raise his faith up, and he is just death incarnate. Summons, black magic, any of that, and like the game just cannot withstand overpowered mage Ramza. That just you know, as like a tip, throwing it out. But yeah, again, with tactician difficulty, I think the only thing I've noticed is the increase in enemy stats. I suspect it's more like the enemy behavior differences, I think, is just because of the difference in like source code or stuff like that. Like, that's what I think. In original Final Fantasy Tactics, the enemy AI was actually ridiculously good. It was so, like, it would put up a challenge. But in the vanilla version, the original version of Final Fantasy Tactics, the enemies you fight are so grossly, like, under-leveled, and their kits are terrible. At end game, the bosses are built so pitifully in terms of reaction abilities, movement abilities, all this type of stuff, that it's just like the AI cannot compete with the juggernaut you become, right? But if you give the AI, like, a matching party, they could put up a good fight. That's why, again, the very first videos on my channel was Final Fantasy Tactics 1.3, which was an extreme difficulty mod. So, you know, I'm more than used to playing around in, you know, Tactician, which is not even 1/50th the difficulty of 1.3. Here is Ramza's summon, wiping out the enemy party. Multiple deaths, 2 deaths, 2 of them down on their knees, like the fight's over, right? Like, that's what Mage Ramza does. Fight starts, you wipe the whole fucking party out, you win. Look at this. Like, you saw, like, you know, Maluda, you know, like, the damage she does is crazy. In a second, she outright one-shots my black, let me put this up, my black mage, my wizard. She just cold-blooded one-shots him from full HP. Yeah, right here. Here's the clip. She just blows him away. But again, a lot of the times, you know, using Tailwind might be good. I'm trying to think of just other, like, differences. I think that the kind of like the Chronicle, like the ability to kind of look at the various different characters, like bios and different scenes and stuff, seems to be pretty good. This remaster to me seems overall to be very, very good. I mean, for me, this is kind of like a, you know, like a dream come true. Again, I love getting trophies. Yeah, here we go. Watch this. Look at this unbalanced shit right here. Now, Pummel does random damage, and I love that the moves have voices, like voice-acted lines. I love that. And just cold-blooded one-shot. Goodbye. She did 30 points of damage, higher than his max HP. Like, it's insane, right? I think that's Tactician difficulty. Now, again, Pummel, the damage will vary. It could be very high, it could be very low. It kind of does like a little bit of random damage. But I think that's just a good example of just like what this like, you know, the only thing the Tactician difficulty does is just make them hit harder, I think, and maybe make them a little bit faster. Like, just their raw stats, I think, are a little bit higher. But yeah, I plan on getting the platinum of this. The trophy list is very easy. I don't think there's really anything too complicated looking at it. I mean, you do have to the secret boss at the end of the deep dungeon, which it's, you know, retranslated to Midlight's Deep. It was like that in the PSP version, the, you know, retranslation. You know, at the secret boss at the end of that does have a summon, which you must learn in order to get the platinum, because you have to master every job. And in order to master Summoner, you do have to have the summon Zodiark, which only, like, the boss at the end of Midlight's Deep has. He's the only boss in the game that's got it. He has to cast it on you. You have to survive it, and then you learn it, right? Is what's going to happen with that. So that would probably be the only tricky one. The rest of it looks like it's actually very easy. I did just want to do just like a first impressions video, because again, I mean, for me, this is, you know, 28 years in the making. I played this game when it first came out in 1997, and now here we are, 2025. You know, I was a little babby back then. Now, 2025, I'm a grown-ass man, and I get to play this and get trophies, which is like my big hobby right now, so I'm loving this. I will definitely do a platinum video of this as well, but I'm not really rushing through the game. I'm just actually taking my time and really enjoying it, because, I mean, this is easily one of my favorite games of all time, right? So, let me know what you guys think. I just wanted to do a quick first impressions video for this game because I absolutely adore it. I will have a couple of platinum videos coming out soon. I've accumulated a couple of platinums and a lot of footage. I just have to actually make the videos, so we'll do that. Silent Hill 2, My Hero Academia 2, and Final Fantasy Tactics platinum videos will all be coming up. So let me know what you guys think. This Final Fantasy Tactics remaster, though, so far it's incredible. You know, a lot of the changes, stuff like that, I think is good. I think the game is just really, I mean, this game is a masterpiece, so I just absolutely love it. I absolutely love it.